So this is the front of the box for the iGO Cam 50R by Uniden. The basics of a dash cam is that you put it on top of your windshield, and either if you have just one with a single camera, or one like this which has a rear reversing cam as well, basically it's just like a GoPro, except for it's hardwired into your vehicle and it's constantly recording as you drive along the road. Basically, so in case you get into an accident or whatever, you have video evidence of, to see who was at fault in the crash. Courts like to have that kind of proof evidence, lawyers and things, if it gets into a nasty dispute. So it's really good just to have that evidence there constantly recording. This version was the cheapest one in the product line that had a rear-facing camera as well. So the front one is 1920 by 1080 resolution, and the secondary rear-facing cam I think is only 720 by 480. But I'll show you later on in some demonstrations that it's not actually that bad, It's better than nothing at all. So there's a lot of marketing blah 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 on the box. It's not very that interesting. Here they have ideal uses for car drivers, courier drivers, taxis, Ubers, trucks and other commercial drivers. But basically, that's the main reason why you'd buy one of these. I guess also if you're doing a road trip or something like that, having it constantly record, you could periodically back up the SD card to a computer or whatever and have, a video of your journey. So there's not a lot that comes in the box, but there's everything you need. There's two long USB cables, one that goes from your cigarette lighter. Oh yeah, there's like a USB cigarette lighter thingy that comes with the cam, but I bought something else that I'm gonna hardwire into the 12-volt ignition source, but you can use this if you want. So one USB goes from this to your main dash cam, and that's, I think, like a it's still quite a long cable, but then the second cable is a lot longer. This one's 4 meters, I think, and this one goes from your primary cam and goes to your secondary. So you've got the two USB cables, the little cigarette lighter attachment, and this is your mount thing that goes from the primary cam with this little USB, and that's adhesive that sticks onto your windshield, goes on there, and I think this has the GPS antenna built into it as well. And then this little thing is another piece of adhesive strip. I think it may just be a spare for the secondary. I'm not actually quite sure, because that doesn't fit any of them that I can tell immediately, but I'm sure it's just a replacement for that one. And then you have the secondary reversing cam, 720 by 480 resolution, if my camera can focus in on the damn thing. Here we are. It's quite small. That is just adhesive again. It's just do that to any angle you want, tighten it up. And then you have the main unit. So it's 150 degrees of, it's got 150 degrees of range. You've got a reset and power switch to the left-hand side. Sorry, I'm doing this with my right hand and I'm left-handed. This is the screen. It's not touch screen, but it's got 4 buttons on the right-hand side there, and you'll see when the display is turned on that they just correspond with 4 icons on the screen. It's pretty easy. On the top in the center there is where it connects to the mount, and on the USB on the right hand side gets attached to the mount, and then the USB on the left hand side, that's what you use to go to the rear camera. On the bottom, just a little bit of ventilation and a serial number, and then on the right hand side is where you have a slot for up to a 32 gig class 10 micro SD card. These are pretty cheap. I bought a quality SanDisk one for about $19, so get the 32 gig. It's way better to have as much storage as you can in case of an emergency. Then on the front, just Uniden see, it's still brand new, I haven't even taken this off yet. And a tiny little speaker. This is the screen that you are greeted with when you boot it up. You control it entirely with these 4 buttons here on the side. The top one is kind of just like a menu button. You've got an up arrow, a down arrow, and OK. So you can see on the screen there we have, on the top left, going right, is the time that we're recording, the resolution we're recording at, whether sound is enabled or not. Not quite sure what that middle one is. And then there's volume for the, just the beeping whenever you click on a button. I've disabled that. And then our battery status. Now this thing, I don't have it plugged in at the moment, I'm just at my desk. It does have a built-in battery, but it's only 320 milliamp hours, I think. So it only lasts 10 or 15 minutes without the battery. But that is enough time for if your car is turned off. One of the features, it's got a G-Shock sensor built in, so I think it's called parking mode. If your car is parked and the car is turned off, because the USB only charges by accessory, if your car is turned off and someone dings it, the motion sensor will activate, this will turn on and start recording from the battery. So that's a pretty cool feature. So to get into the menu, we just click this top button, and that brings up, see how each button is just right next to one of those icons. And so if I press that again, that'll go to settings. This up arrow then switches from video mode to photo mode. This can shoot still images while you're driving if you want it to do that. And then we have, what is that? Oh, that's just the playlist button. Events is what they call anytime the camera records from one of those motion sensor activations. And then that's just your record on and off button. So if I hit the record, you see then that just starts recording up the top left there. And this thing is designed so that whenever you turn the car on and it receives a USB signal, it'll automatically just be in recording mode by default. So once it's set up, you'll never have to touch the thing. We just press again to bring up the menu, press it again to stop. Now, if we wanted to change to photo mode, I can then just take a photo. Back to video mode. And now we'll jump into the settings. So you can choose whether to record at 1080p 30, 720p 30, and these two here are for the rear cam. I think the VGA is 720 by 480, and I think that may be 640 by 480, I'm not quite sure. Dual record is, even if the rear camera is installed, you can choose whether to record both or just from the front. Image quality, pretty self-explanatory. Now when the dash cam records, it automatically splits itself into files, and you can choose whether the file lengths are 1, 3, or 5 minutes. It is seamless from one file to the next, but you can just choose how long those files are. Auto recording is on, which you should always have it on. Stamps, date stamp, car plate, and speed watermark, just have all of those on. As much information as you can from this dash cam, that's the whole point of having one. Just have that set 60 Hz, you can do 50 or 60. Wide dynamic range, have that on, so at night time you get deeper blacks and more vibrant colors. You can adjust your level of exposure, headlight alert, motion detection. Park mode is what I was talking about earlier, and the motion detection you can also turn on and off apparently. Okay. The G sensor, you can set the sensitivity for that park mode. Viewing mode, that's what's just going to be on the screen whenever you're driving. It can alert you if you're speeding, but you can choose just to have that off. because you should be looking at the road anyway, not this. Date and time, daylight saving on and off, car plate stamp, you can just stamp in whatever you like and that'll just be printed into your video. Auto power off, LCD auto off, beep sound, see I've got that on mute, but if I were to have high, it then does that, but that's very annoying. Storage information, now I've got a 32 gig card in here, it's the it's the maximum space that you can, so I just suggest to get a 32 gig, they're not even that expensive really. Format the SD card, return your settings to defaults, and the version. That's all the settings, it's pretty simple really. And yeah, you can use it as just like a little GoPro style cam thing if you're not going to use it in a car. But I'm going to get this installed, and then I'm going to have some footage at the end of this video of driving in the daytime and the nighttime. But I can already tell you, just from taking it out of the box, it may be plastic, but it feels like it's made of quality. You know, this thing was the cheapest, it was the cheapest model with a rear camera, but it was still $200 here in Australia. So, you know, it's not a cheap product. It feels like it's made of quality. The 32 gig micro SD, another 18-20 bucks. And yeah, I will definitely recommend this product because I can already tell that it's going to be worth its weight someday down the road. So, to summarize my thoughts, would I recommend this dash cam to somebody? Yes, definitely. I haven't been driving around in it yet, but already from just being able to feel it, being able to carry it around, recording in my apartment, I can already tell that the 1080p resolution is very, very good, and even the 480 on the rear dash cam there, it's not bad. Like, it's better than having nothing at all, and it's definitely going to save your ass if someone rear ends you and you're going to have to need evidence to say that you're not at fault. It's got a lot of features. I haven't mentioned half of them, but if you're interested in buying this, I'm sure you've done your own research anyway. For $199, or you can buy it off eBay for like $10 off sometimes. It's definitely, I think, the most value-oriented option out there. Uniden is a very well-respected brand. They've been around for a long time. Other ones that are out there for $200, they don't have a rear cam for starters, and quite often the build quality just isn't there. So yeah, it's a great webcam, lots of features. The 1080p is fantastic. The 32 gig is more than enough for what you need. And yes, I would definitely recommend. I'm very happy with this purchase.